What's up, you guys? Esley Greer from Entertainment Fanatic Reviews back with another review in the Halloween franchise. Before we get started, I just want to thank every single one of you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. So, yeah, let's jump into our review for Halloween Resurrection. So, Halloween Resurrection is a 2002 slasher film directed by Rick Rosenthal and stars Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks, and Jamie Lee Curtis. The reality programmers of Dangertainment have selected a group of the thrill-seeking teens to spend one fun-filled night in the childhood home of serial killer Michael Myers. But the planned live broadcast turns deadly when their evening of excitement becomes a night of horror as Michael himself decides to crash the party. So, getting on to my positives with this film, I really do think the first 10-15 minutes of this film is really ballsy. But I hate a certain thing that they do, but we'll get into that with my negatives. But I do feel like the first 10-15 minutes is probably the best part of this film. I think this film has a really cool concept, but I don't feel like it fits in a Halloween film. But I think it is ahead of its time, with the whole web show series and everything. This film was made in '02, but this sounds like something that would happen in anywhere between 2008 and 2012. But even though I do like the concept, it doesn't belong in a Halloween film, and it doesn't fully execute itself. But hey, what can you do? The score is phenomenal in this. It happens to be my second favorite score in the franchise. I do love the character of Harold at the beginning, and one of my friends, Aaron from Aaron, You've Done Messed Up Productions, stated, what if they made their own film about Harold? I mean, just his concept and everything about that film would be phenomenal. So Aaron, get on that. Like, dude, write a script. We should make a fan film out of that. The cinematography is good as well. Sometimes it does take over with the whole, POV shot of all the characters, but it brings back a certain feel. Like I've stated before, I feel like Halloween 2 is like the Scream of the franchise, and I feel like Resurrection is the MTV of the franchise. The mask does look good, but I find the eyebrows a bit too thick. It's pretty funny, and the hair isn't all that good. But hey, it's the best mask we've had since two. So it took you 21 years to make a good mask. But it just so happened to be directed by the same person, which makes no bit of sense because Halloween 2 is my favorite in the franchise, and this happens to be my second least favorite in the franchise, which I don't know how that works. I love the character of Rudy. He's pretty funny. It hates to see him go, but the death was pretty cool. Every time that he was on camera, I just thought this dude was pretty funny. I feel like the whole cast gets their job done, but like no one really stands out except Busta Rhymes, but that's not really a positive within itself. My favorite death in this is the guy with the leather jacket on. I don't know his character's name, and I don't really care to, but I loved his death. His death was pretty cool, and his little girlfriend. Those were some cool deaths. But other than that, no death really stood out, or no acting performance really stood out. Like, everyone got the job done. Slasher film, one and done. So, on to my negatives. I know it sounds like I'm praising this film, but I'm really not. This movie does have its problems. Like I said, they did not fully execute on the web show aspect. I found it to be a bit of a drag, and it doesn't fit in a Halloween film. And also, this movie is just boring as shit. It's like a chore to sit through this film. And it took me like, because I did a marathon where I watched like a Halloween film a night, and I skipped like 4 or 5 days and watched movies that I loved before I watched this because I heard such bad things about it. You don't care for most of the characters except for the ones mentioned. Like Harold and Rudy. You do like the main girl, like the final girl of this film. She's all right, but her scream, her line at the end, "This is for all of them," was so stupid. It was great though, but she did an all right job, but she wasn't anything outstanding. Like I said, no kill really stood out except the ones mentioned. My main negative with this is not the mask, not Busta Rhymes, even though I hate him disrespecting our Michael Myers and doing kung fu on his ass. Like, dude, no, you can't disrespect Michael Myers like that. The first 10-15 minutes of this film were great, except until Laurie Strode's death. Like, if you wanted to kill her off, do it in, like, the most iconic, most, like, sympathetic way ever, but make it awesome at the same time. And, like, if you killed her at the beginning, make the rest of the film awesome, even though if the film was good, but, Laurie Strode died in the first 10, 15 minutes, I don't think people would really like this film if she died in the first 10, 15 minutes. So either way, if you kill her off in the first 10, 15 minutes, no one's going to like this film. Maybe if you kill her off in the end, yes. But speaking of the ending, it ended sort of the same way like Halloween 2, a fire. But with all that being said, I'm going to give this film the same score as Halloween 5, a 5.75 out of 10. And this is something I left out with my Halloween 5 review, is that a 5.75 is pretty good for the worst in the franchise, even though both of those films are a chore to go through. And yeah, so with all that being said, don't be scared. To like, comment, subscribe, and share would be highly appreciated. And peace. Except 5 and 8.